Alright lads, grab a seat and let's dive deep because there's plenty to unpack when it comes to our beloved Rangers. We're less than a week away from that crucial European tie against Panathinaikos, and Russell Martin's plans are starting to take shape. Now a lot's been happening behind closed doors, literally, as Rangers continue to gear up for the season away from the public eye. Another bounce game has taken place, and not only did the team put in a strong performance, but the lineup from that game might be the clearest clue yet as to what we can expect in that all-important fixture coming up. So let's talk about that. Secret friendly first. This one was against Dunfermline Athletic, and before anyone starts getting too giddy or too dismissive, let's be fair. Dunfermline are already a bit ahead of us in terms of competitive match fitness. They've already kicked off their League Cup campaign, even though they did take a bit of a hammering from Hearts losing 4-0. But the point is, they've played competitive football already, so they're not exactly rusty. Still, Rangers smashed them 4-1 in this bounce game at Auchenhowie, and it's the nature of the performance and the personnel that really has tongues wagging. Russell Martin, to his credit, has been trying to keep his players protected away from all the early negativity that often surrounds new managers. Let's be real here. His appointment wasn't exactly met with a standing ovation from every corner of the support. There was plenty of skepticism, and it seems like these behind closed doors matches are part of a plan to ease the pressure, avoid distractions, and quietly get the team into shape. Maybe it's smart, maybe it's cautious. Either way, it's happening. Now, the team that was put out against Dunfermline is the most telling one so far. Martin had said previously that we'd start to see something close, not exact, but close, to what his starting 11 might look like for the Panathinaikos game. And this group might just be the blueprint. So here's how they lined. Up, Butland in goal, a back four of Tavernier, Aaron Sauter, and this is the kicker, Max Aarons playing on the left. Midfield had Rothwell Raskin and Diamanda, while the front three consisted of Asgard Kieran Dowell and Danilo. Now, right away, two big questions jump off the page. What's the story with that back four? And why is Dowell still in the picture? Let's start with the defense. If Max Aarons is being played at left back, you've got to wonder what that says about Ridvan and Robbie Fraser. Has the manager already decided they're not up to scratch? Or is this just an experiment? Personally, I don't like the idea of playing a right footer on the left in Scottish football. You need natural width. You need players who can go outside, hit the byline, stretch the pitch. That's how you break down these low blocks that every other team in the Premiership sets up against us. When you put a righty like Aarons on the left, what you're doing is narrowing the pitch, forcing everything inside, and making it all that bit easier to defend against. We've seen it before. Sterling at left back, even Cifuente's thrown out there. It just doesn't work the same. So is this about crowbarring Tav into the team again? Look, I'll say it straight. Keeping James Tavernier as our right back again this season is, in my view, a massive mistake. A howler. He's been an excellent server, no doubt. His numbers have been phenomenal in attack, but defensively the stats don't lie. 1-1, he's been among the worst in the entire Scottish League. It's not an opinion, it's data. FREF has the figures, and that's just in domestic competition. Throw in European opposition and the flaws become even more exposed. If Martin builds this team again around keeping Tav on the pitch, especially at right back, it could cost him his job. We've seen managers before, decent ones, come and go because they insisted on sticking with players who were past their best or simply didn't fit the system anymore. If he wants to modernize this team, if he wants to evolve it, then that starts with tough calls. And for me, that means finally moving on from Tavernier as an automatic starter. Moving into midfield, this was maybe the most balanced group we've seen so far. Rothwell, Raskin, and Diamande. That looks like a solid three. And Martin's already spoken in glowing terms about Nicholas Raskin. Said he was carrying too much responsibility last season, had too much on his plate. And you could see that? The lad was running himself into the ground every game trying to cover for the fact that the rest of the midfield was inconsistent at best. With Rothwell and Diamande now in there, the idea is that Raskin can focus on what he does best. Dictate. Tempo link defense to attack and control the middle third. Russell Martin said that Raskin's going to be a different player this season and that we'll see the best of him because the burden has been lifted. And look, that's what good managers do. They build systems that get the best out of their best players. They don't just chuck a name on the team sheet and hope for the best. So there's reason to be optimistic there. Up front, a few interesting things too. First off, Asgard gets on the score sheet. Positive start. That's what you want from new signings, especially when you're talking about confidence players. And Danilo, my word, 1 goal, 3 assists. He was involved in every single goal Rangers scored in that game. And honestly, I've been saying this for months. Danilo is the real deal. People have written him off far too soon. Injuries haven't helped to show, but most of his setbacks have been from impact injuries. Broken cheekbone, bad tackle, not muscle problems, not fitness issues. And it's not just about the goals. Danilo's all-round game is miles ahead of Desire's. He links play, he presses, he brings others into the game. That's what modern forwards are supposed to do. Look at the top teams across Europe. Look at how someone like Alexander Isak plays, or how Liverpool target Benjamin Šeško operates. They're not just finishers, they're complete forwards. That's what Danilo is. And if he stays fit, there's no reason he can't score 25 goals in the league and hit 35 in all competitions. That's the kind of output we've lacked for years. Now, Kieran Dowell, here's a surprise. Many were ready to see him off, thought he'd be first out the door in the summer. But Martin seems to like him. He started 3 games in a row. That's not nothing. That tells you he's in the plans. Now, I know last season Dowell was miles off the pace. But under a new manager with a new system and perhaps a new confidence, maybe we're finally going to see what he's capable of. Remember, he was well thought of at Norwich and Everton before. Sometimes a player just clicks with a particular coach, and maybe this is that moment for him. Let's not forget, every time a new gaffer comes in, there's always 1 or 2 players who surprise everyone. They look reborn, and early signs suggest that Dowell might be one of those. The other bit of news coming out is about Clinton and Ciala. Looks like he's been told he's not in the plans and a move is on the cards. There's interest from Belgium. Westerlo and Zulte Waregem both asking about a loan. Westerlo might have the inside track since their manager used to work with. Rangers are nosing Ciala well. It's a shame in a way, because I do think Ciala has talent. He's a good ball-playing centre-half, and under the right coaching, I reckon he could be a decent asset. But again, he's been mismanaged. Like a few of our young players last season, he never got a proper run. Now with Sutar Fernandez and new signings coming in, he's fallen down the pecking order. That said, a loan move might be the best thing for him right now. Go away, play 30 or 40 games, come back a better player. If Westerlo or Waregem can give him that, then good luck to the lad. Hopefully this time we send someone out on loan and actually get the benefit of it when they return instead of polishing them up for someone else. Speaking of centre-backs, John Sautar is still being linked with a move. There's been talk of a bid, but the numbers mentioned, around 1.3 million, are frankly insulting. For a player of his quality with international experience, that fee's nowhere near enough. You be looking at double that at least. Meanwhile, Ben Davies is expected to leave with Birmingham showing interest. That one seems a lot more likely to happen soon, maybe even before the league campaign kicks off. And one last bit before we wrap up this first part. Colin Stewart. Remember him, former Rangers goalkeeping coach, worked in the academy, and then with the first team for nearly a decade. Well, he's just landed a massive gig. He's now at Liverpool, joining Arne Slot's backroom staff as a goalkeeper development lead. That's no small feat. Shows just how well respected he is in the coaching world. And for him to link up with another former Ranger, Gio van Bronckhorst, who's also now at Liverpool, it kind of makes you wonder what we're missing sometimes. Good luck to him. He deserves it. Right, picking up from where we left off. Let's keep digging into this Rangers rebuild under Russell Martin. Now, we've already seen how that bounce game against Dunfermline may have given us a real glimpse of what's coming, but there's still a fair bit of uncertainty swirling around the squad. Some players have 1 foot out the door, others are desperately trying to prove they deserve to stay, and a few just aren't up to speed yet. One of the big talking points is around the fitness of certain players. Hamza Igamane and Cyril Desires, for instance, were nowhere to be seen in that bounce game. And the reason's fairly straightforward. They're behind the rest of the squad. While the rest of the team has been getting stuck into preseason training, learning Martin's methods, getting those minutes in the legs, those two have been playing catch-up. And it shows. Anyone who's missed a proper preseason knows just how far off the pace you can look when everyone else is already a couple of weeks ahead of you. It's not just about cardio either. It's rhythm, it's sharpness, it's tactical understanding, and right now both of them are a few steps behind. So when we think about the lineup for the Panathinaikos match, it's hard to imagine either of them starting. At best, you're talking about a 15 or 20-minute cameo off the bench, and even that would depend on how much fitness work they can squeeze in over the next few days. And this brings us back around to Danilo. If there was ever any doubt about who should be leading the line that's been blown away, fully fit, confident, and clearly in favor with the manager, Danilo's the man for that starting striker role. The way he's performed in training and in these behind-the-scenes friendlies shows that he's not only ready, but hungry to prove a point. And maybe that's what we needed all along. A proper mobile number 9 who can lead from the front, press hard, and finish when it counts. And let's be real, the pressure is mounting already. European qualifiers aren't just about getting to the group stages anymore. They're about proving we've actually made progress. We've had too many false dawns, too many campaigns that started with a bit of promise and ended in disappointment. That simply can't happen again. So the players who are fit and ready, the ones who've done the work and earned their place, they're the ones who need to step up now. No passengers, no excuses. Another name that keeps creeping into the conversation is JD Kasanovic. Martin's made it clear he's part of the first team plans, even if we haven't seen loads of him just yet. But it wouldn't be a shock to see him involved at some point against Panathinaikos. Maybe not from the start, but off the bench, depending on how the game goes. And it's encouraging to hear the manager speak so positively about him. Shows that we're building for more than just the short term. There's a proper structure starting to form, and players like Kasanovic might just be key pieces in that puzzle down the line. Now, I want to circle back to a player that continues to divide opinion, Kieran Dowell. Some fans are still fuming that he's not only still at the club, but actually starting games. But look, football's a funny game. New managers come in and they see something others don't. Maybe it's a mentality thing. Maybe it's how he trains. Maybe it's just that he fits a particular role in Martin's system. Whatever it is, the fact is Dowell has started 3 games now, including that one, where Martin basically hinted the lineup would resemble the European 11. That's not a coincidence. You don't start someone 3 times in a row unless they're part of your plans. End of. We all know Dowell had a stinker of a season last year. But then again, who didn't? That whole campaign was a disaster. And a big part of that came down to mismanagement. Poor tactics, inconsistent lineups, no identity. You can't judge players properly in a broken system. Now, does that mean Dowell suddenly becomes world-class overnight? Of course not. But what it does mean is he deserves a proper chance under a new regime, just like everyone else. And maybe Martin's already seen something in him worth holding on to. And it's not like Dowell's alone in that respect. Every single season, there are players who rise from the ashes once a new gaffer comes in. Maybe they get played in their proper position for once. Maybe they're given a run of games to find rhythm. Maybe they're just managed properly for the first time. That sort of thing can make a huge difference. So if Dowell's turning heads in training, I'm putting in the work, fair play to him. Let's see what he can do when it counts. Let's also talk a wee bit about the outgoing business. Like we mentioned earlier, Clinton Enciala is basically out the door, and that's understandable. With the centre-back options we've got, Sautar Fernandez, the new signings, there's just not much room for him in the immediate plans. But there's still a player in there, and a loan to a decent level somewhere like Belgium could do him the world of good. Westerlo seems like the smart choice, especially given the coach knows him from before. It's not a glamorous move, sure, but it's a step forward. And more importantly, it keeps him on our books while giving him a chance to grow. Too often in the past, we've let talent slip through our fingers because we didn't have a clear pathway. Either they were thrown in too early and drowned, or they rotted on the bench until it was too late. But this feels different. There's a bit of strategy now. Let him go play a full season, come back stronger. And if he impresses, maybe there's a future for him. If not, at least we've increased his value and given him a shot elsewhere. That's how smart clubs operate. On the coaching side, it's worth tipping the cap once more to Colin Stewart. 9 years of Rangers working through the ranks, dedicating himself to the club. And now he's landed a major role at Liverpool, working under Arne Slot as the goalkeeping development and pathway lead. That's no small feat. That's a top job at one of the biggest clubs in the world. You don't get that gig unless you're doing something very right. And it's yet another reminder that we've had quality behind the scenes. We just haven't always used it properly. It's bittersweet though, isn't it? Watching people who've served the club well go off and thrive elsewhere while we're still trying to find our feet. But maybe that's the final piece of evidence that the rebuild isn't just about the players on the pitch. It's about getting the right structure in place off it as well. Coaches, analysts, recruitment, The whole thing needs to be aligned. And under this new board led by the likes of Kavanagh, there's a real sense that we're finally moving in the right direction. Finally acting like a proper football club again. And that matters because for too long, Rangers have felt like a club stuck in the past. A club with one foot still in the 70s. A club run by people who are more interested in nostalgia than progress. But now you're starting to see decisions made with purpose. Players signed to fit a system, staff appointed based on merit, youth players loaned out with proper development plans. It's not flashy, but it's effective. And this brings us full circle, doesn't it? All eyes are now on that game against Panathinaikos. It's the first big test of this new era. It's where we see if Russell Martin's ideas can translate under the lights with real pressure. There'll be no hiding, no closed doors. Just 90 minutes to prove that the work done this summer has been worth it. So get ready, lads, because the journey is about to begin, and for the first time in a while, it actually feels like we're moving forward. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all of the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Whispers are growing louder in the footballing world, and this time they're echoing from Stamford Bridge all the way to Ibrox. Reports down south suggest that Chelsea have given the green light for one of their most highly rated youngsters to head north, with Glasgow Rangers emerging as the surprise destination. The player in question? As 17-year-old WONDERKID already being talked about as the next big thing in English football. While nothing is yet confirmed, sources close to the situation claim that the teenager, whose identity remains under wraps for now, could be set to join Rangers in the coming weeks, either on loan or as part of a long-term development project. There's been no official word from either club, but the rumor mill is in full swing, with some even suggesting personal terms may already be in place. The youngster, described by insiders at Cobham as a diamond with elite potential, has reportedly impressed in youth competitions, catching the eye not just of Premier League coaches, but also scouts across Europe. His playing style is said to blend flair with intelligence, a rare mix that's made him a standout figure in the England youth setup. Chelsea's decision to let him leave, even temporarily, is being seen by many as a strategic move to give the prodigy real game time in a competitive senior environment. And what better stage than Ibrox, with Rangers eyeing a return to domestic dominance and a serious run in Europe. Bringing in fresh young talent fits the club's new recruitment approach. There's also a growing belief that Rangers manager has been keen on injecting youth and dynamism into the squad, and this Chelsea lad could be exactly what the Light Blues are looking for. Still, as with all transfer talk, it remains to be seen whether this buzz turns into a done deal or fades into summer speculation. But one thing's certain, if this WONDERKID does make the move, all eyes will be on Glasgow to see whether the hype is real, or just another name lost in the noise. Greetings, fans! Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.